Hercules, Hercules.
Oh, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules.
What is zero to hero?
A hero just like that.
And welcome to the Ruby Tuesday. My name is Ruben. This is my review for Netflix's original series called Zero. Let me know in the comments below. Have you heard about this? Were you excited about this? I hadn't even heard about this, and I have to say, I enjoyed it. But let's get into the synopsis and then we'll do the review. I don't know what I'm doing. A teen with the power of invisibility is dragged into a small-time criminal's quest to rule the neighborhood and gets to know a mysterious art student. 8 episodes, 20 minutes apiece, and you fly through them. There is subtitles here that you might think, I can't handle subtitles, and you can do the dubbing and go, yeah, this dubbing doesn't feel quite right. But I have to say, when I was reading subtitles, I totally forgot that I was reading the subtitles, which I think is great, because as soon as that immerses you enough and you're just reading it because the story is good enough for you to go, yeah, all right, that's pretty good, then that's doing its job. It's doing its job to entertain you enough that you forget that you're reading subtitles, and that for me is a good indication that this series was better than I was expecting it to be. At least this is a superhero story, but it's not like the superhero stories that we've seen of late. It does feel like we're a bit overpopulated, a bit saturated with the superhero stuff, and I love my superhero stuff between anime, Marvel, DC, you name it, the boys, everywhere we have superhero stuff. So it really is a world that embraced that. The entertainment society has embraced that storyline, but it feels like we're very much oversaturated. So unless your thing does something new and unique, it's not going to stand out, and it's not going to feel like it's actually very entertaining. I have to say, I really enjoyed this, mostly because our protagonist is very likable. So we have this protagonist who just is a really nice guy. He has good family morals. He has an estranged father relationship. They don't have a good relationship. There's an issue with his past to do with his mother. There's an issue with his sister they're going through stuff together. And you see them play this family role. So the core center is relationships. And that's what makes a TV series good. That's what makes a movie good. You have your characters that are defined by their backstory, that are defined by the storytelling that you give them, by the character development you give them. And I have to say, they do that a lot. It's amazing how much they actually managed to put in the series in the spurts of 20-minute episodes, which is great, because the series doesn't outstay its welcome. It never kind of pushes that boundaries of, oh, now we're just going to do some padding and now we're going to do some exposition. There is that, but it's in amongst the story. And then when we get to the superhero bit, the ability, if you've seen the trailers, they've invisibility, and the way they show that is kind of with the decolor saturation. Our main character is almost cartoon-like, almost rotoscope, but not quite. But everything else is black and white, a little bit Sin City, not quite to that extent, and it works because it's different. It's unique. It shows you clearly when he's in that mode. It shows a progression of character development in his superpowers, like Spider-Man, having to learn how to control the abilities, and you see the effects of that ability, what that means to society and those around him. It's a very well thought out, used trope in superhero stories, but it works really well here. Not the trope of the color thing, but the trope of how with great power comes great responsibility. And then we see that the friends he makes are from the neighborhood and a little bit risque, but there's a reason why they're a bit, I'm going to say dodgy. They're just an expression of their neighborhood, and their neighborhood is being kind of taken down by the big guy that wants to make money off their neighborhood. So he wants to I think it's gentrification is the word. So he wants all those people from poor society to move out so they can make money off it. And so there's this other storyline going on as well. We also have a relationship that is very likable. It's almost a Romeo and Juliet story in that way, a love story. One from the rich side, one from the poor side, and they meet together and you're rooting from them right from the get-go. So you have all this multiplying, and it doesn't ever lose its way. It doesn't feel like it does. Sometimes it goes on a little bit of let's flesh out these side characters a little bit, which I appreciated. But for the most part, we stick with our very likable protagonist, who I think carries the show very well. The thing is that you want to know more, so it keeps you guessing, and for the most part you can guess what's going to happen in the story. But what keeps you guessing is the lore behind the powers, and that is the really intriguing arc here. So I'm going to do an ending explained in a minute, but just to let you know, that's kind of my review. I thought it was fantastic. I thought the way they put it together doesn't outstay its welcome. The acting is fun. I forgot about the subtitles. The cinematography is okay. I like their SFX use of how they show the powers, and it's built up enough that you want to know more. You want to know what's going to happen. It does seem like they're setting it up for a second season, and if this is the way they did their first season, I highly recommend it. I'm going to give this a B plus. It's a strong B plus. I'm hoping that with more arc on the main story, with the kind of explanation of the superpowers, that they will really kind of dive into the lore of that in season 2. But for now, I thoroughly enjoyed it. So B plus. This is spoiler territory now. We're going to talk ending. So that's your warning. Warning, spoilers. Okay, so we see during the series that the powers of invisibility, whenever he uses them, seems to affect his sister, and his sister seems to be going blind. We also have the woman who seems to know all about them. She is kind of the big bad behind the bad, and she is part of this cult society that believe that, as far as we can understand, that the brother and sister are part of a duo, a calling that will bring balance to the force or not bring balance to the force. But we do see that right at the end we get this kind of cult gathering. Everybody's holding candles. They're repeating a sort of mantra explanation of what is expected to happen with these two, seeming like the brother and sister. It does seem like black and white. We also see the sister use her powers for the first time. We see the guy's eyes roll back and go white, and suddenly she pushes him, scares, and that woman falls to the ground, and she smiles. So we see her kind of going to the dark side. It's like choosing which light side you're going to go into. We don't know if she's going to go that way, but it does seem like in season 2 that there could be like two paths, and brother and sister will have to fight each other. I hope it's not that predictable, but it does seem like it could go that way. And so we see one of the biggest reveals is that the mother is there. She isn't in her cartoon state, so it seems like she's not dead, but it does seem like the dad and the father are there as part of this cult, and everybody seems to know it, and they haven't been telling their kids what this thing is. At first, I thought it was the bracelet that was making the power turn on and off, but it does seem like there's much more to that. So if you have an explanation to that as to why she's alive, let me know in the comments below. As far as I can tell, it's all to do with the brother and sister, and that their powers are linked to each other, but they have different manifestations of that power, which is also interesting. The lore, I think, is going to go deeper into maybe their religion or their background, something maybe mystical from the Senegal region, which I think is very interesting. So let me know in the comments below what you thought, but for now we know it's linked. The parents are alive, they've been lying to them, they both have powers, and they obviously knew it. And this other woman of power, she must be like a voodoo priestess or something like that. I reckon she has powers as well. She can see the invisible. She knows about the daughter's ability with her eyes, why she's losing her eyesight. So she knows a lot more than she's letting on. I would have liked more about that in season 1, but I guess they're holding off to see what the audience is expecting, whether the audience likes it or not, and then they're going to go for it in season 2. At least I hope, fingers crossed. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching this, but most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.